Hello, my name is Raquel Arcas and I will explain my strategy for CompXM, what I learned in Capstone, and of course what will be our following strategy. And just for reference, our team in Capstone was Team Andrews. So starting with which was our strategy in Capstone to know where we're going to start with. So in Capstone, we were broad differentiators. That was the strategy that we chose. We tried to keep products in each one of the segments. We didn't want to precisely go to low-end or high-end products only. We wanted to have an impact in all of them. We wanted to not keep our prices too low or too high. We wanted to have that broad part, and we wanted to have a lot of awareness and accessibility so our customers both knew about our products and it was easy for them to access. So that was our main strategy that we wanted to follow. Our strategy, unfortunately, was not so effective. After all of our scorecards, we would rate it a 6 out of 10, and we will go more in depth in our next slides to understand this a bit better. Talking about the strategy going forward, we can start by looking back. What would we have changed? So first of all, we didn't really understand how each of the tabs would interlink between each other. As an example, we can talk about the marketing and production tab, in which we didn't understand that in this case, one of them we had to put a forecast for our worst case scenario, which was marketing. And in production, we had to put our best case scenario. So we were producing enough. We didn't quite understand that, and especially when talking about the finance tab, we didn't understand that each one of our operations was going to have to be financed. Since of course we were acquiring new technology and improving our products, we had to get that money somewhere. Another thing is that the impact of competition in our forecast was not really understood. We're choosing our own sales and just using the growth rate in each of the segments for each product. And we didn't really take into account what was our competition doing and how that could really change the benchmark of what was happening overall in the industry. Now, which adjustments were we going to do for CompXM? So first of all, we're not starting from scratch this time. So the strategy is not going to be chosen purely on what we would like to do, but also what our company has been doing. After doing round one, I have noticed that our company are niche differentiators. So they are differentiators. They have basically let their thrift product drift away, and they're really investing pretty high amounts in having their elite, nano, and core products as one of the best of the competition. Also, the prices are quite high, but as the expectations are also very good for the products, they have had great sales. So that's basically what is going to be our strategy going forward, and we want to keep that strategy and respect it to have the best results possible. So now, another thing that we want to keep in mind now with our new strategy is the human resources and TQM tab. Last time we didn't use those, and this time is going to be important to have enough of the people that we need to work. Also, we need to have them trained, and also we need to have the best. So we will have to also make those investments in these tabs. And for the TQM, we have to keep labor and material costs down. We want our R&D to be as good as possible, especially since we're niche differentiators, and our administrative costs should also be taken into account. So those are one of the things that we'll have to keep in mind this time. Going to part of our segments and going more specifically, let's start with our low-end segment. When we were in Capstone, our low-end segment, one of the products was Acre. We decided to basically let this product drift. We did that, and I think that choice was because we didn't really understand the brush differentiator strategy, since we should have probably kept that product. Also, we didn't only let it drift, but we even lowered the quality of the product, which actually costs to the company because you're changing it. So that was not a very good strategy, but in the moment we thought it was going to save us some costs. Now we will focus on our nano, elite, and core products, and we will let our thrift product drift. But this time We will not lower the quality of the product. We will be careful with its pricing and keep awareness and accessibility high as long as it exists so it can sell. But we will also stop and sell capacity when the product exits the market. Now, for our performance product. Our performance product back in the day was aft. In that moment, we didn't change the performance rating in each round because of financing problems. We wanted that product to be excellent, but we took some not so great choices at the moment, because something that we did was that some of our projects took longer than a year. So in that year, we actually didn't have an improvement, which appeared to the market as the drift was not stabilized by us. And also there were some years in which we didn't have an improvement at all. So because of that, we have to keep in mind how long our projects are going to take in the future. Something different that we want to make, not now that our performance is going to be called our elite product, because that is the, let's say, the equivalent on CompXM to how it was in Capstone, is we want to keep in mind to really focus on those metrics and not be so afraid of keeping prices high, since we're niche differentiators this time. When talking about our traditional product, the traditional product that we had was Able. Able, we wanted to keep this product without big improvements. We wanted to just keep it in the traditional section and just balance out the drift of each year. Problems is, first of all, we didn't understand the correct drift difference that we had to make for each year. And also, we always want our product to be the best. And we were just making very slight adjustments, which actually made our product to drift much more than what the industry was doing. So it was not competitive by the end. This time, we want our core product to be as efficient as possible and to be very well positioned in the market. Following to our high-end product back in the day was Adam. Adam, our strategy was not stable, since in some years we changed both performance and size. Some years we only changed performance, some years we only changed size, and sometimes our projects again were too long, took longer than a year, and we didn't really understand the impact that that was going to have. But as we all know, then as those products took too long, then they didn't reach the market in time, and it looked to the customers as we didn't even change at all. And also by the time that that change arrived, then it was not enough to be competitive. So this time we have to take that into account when we talk about our elite product, which are going to be similar to our high-end product. But of course, this time there are no specifically high-end products, and we'll have elite and nano. So we have to take that also into account. Following with our size product, back in the day, it was Agape. We wanted to make it smaller in time, but it remained the same in several rounds, which again was because we made products that were way too large. We also focused on new products and didn't really understand how to keep our old products current, and also didn't understand how the competition was going to be affected, thanks to the fact that we're going to have 2 new products, so they were also going to enter the market. So another thing that we have to change in our strategy is how new products will change both our strategy and what will happen overall. Now, our process and functionality and part of the teamwork. This time I will be doing it by myself. I will not have a team to back me up, and that's going to be interesting. So the first thing that we have to keep into account is timing. Something that I think can help is, back in the day, we kind of gave different functions to the parts of the team, and after we would join them. So this time it might be interesting to actually go through the tabs more in conjunction to each other, since I will be doing it by myself. But also I think keeping timing is going to be important, and I think it's a good idea to normally give things before the deadlines. So then when I have to make the reports, I will have much more time to actually analyze what happened and keep it current. But definitely keeping into account, timing is going to be very important. Now, for key learning comes of what I learned in Capstone and how that will change me in CompXM, we have three main points. The first one being the financing department and its impact on every single one of our operations. Something very important that we didn't understand last time is that the way that you finance your assets is very important. As we all know, there are different costs and different risk of different types of financing. So if you take loans, if you take short-term or long-term debt, if you issue stocks, and if you issue bonds, that's going to have different costs for the company. And also that's going to have a different impact on how your shareholders see you. For example, now that we're going to be a company that is a differentiator, but that is a niche differentiator, we have to be very careful when it comes to debt, because normally shareholders are not very prone to liking highly leveraged companies. So we have to take that into account, and we have to take into account really being able to finance all of our operations, marketing, and R&D costs. The second thing that we learned was how to forecast correctly. Last time, as I explained in most of our segments, we were just forecasting based on our own productivity and the growth of the industry. This time, we have to take into account what our competitors are doing and how that will have an impact on next year's sales, of course. Finally, the third thing, and not less important, is how to read competition and know why they're making decisions now. So if they have a product, for example, that didn't change at all, they probably had a very big project coming ahead. If they had a product that was doing very well, but the price was too high, they're probably going to put that price down. We need to check the market to see, for example, if there is a gap in the market and if someone's going to fill it, if we're able to fill it. And we need to take all of those things into account to not only focus on our own strategy. I think that being already a little bit experienced with Capstone will help us a lot in the future and in this project in CompXM. Thank you.